Hi everyone, I'm Maria. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm making bagels. Originally from New York, but having moved away, I often find myself missing bagels. So I resort to making them myself. This is my recipe. It makes some great bagels. I think you'll really enjoy them. So let's get started. Bagels are surprisingly simple to make. You make them with a lean dough, meaning there's no fat included in the dough. So it's a very simple, basic dough. We're going to start by adding 1.5 cups of water. This water's been warmed, it's lukewarm. You want to be able to touch the water and feel that it's warm but not hot. To that warm water, I'll be adding a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and a package of dry yeast. You're also going to need about 4 cups of flour. Now you really want to use a bread flour for your bagels if you want that super doughy bagel. So we're going to need about 4 cups of flour, 4 to 5 cups of flour. You can of course use all-purpose flour if you must. You'll still get a decent bagel, but if you want that really doughy bagel, go with the bread flour. So we've added our warm water, our salt, our sugar, and our yeast. To that, I'm going to add my 4 cups of flour. I'm going to start with the 4 cups, check on my dough, and then check to see if it needs some more. It's funny working with doughs. Sometimes you'll need more flour, sometimes less. It really depends on the flour. So many things come into play, humidity, altitude, a lot of things come into play. So check your dough, see that it's the right consistency, and if you need to add more flour, feel free. We're just going to mix that up. Once our dough is ready, we want to transfer it to a well-oiled container and let it rise. I've transferred my dough. You're looking for a dough that's not sticky at all. You don't want it to be at all sticky. You want it to be smooth, firm, and not sticky. That's the consistency you're looking for. This is a well-greased vessel, so you want to transfer it someplace that's well-greased so it doesn't stick. So we're just going to let our dough rest for about 40 minutes, rest and rise for about 40 minutes. Depending on how warm it is. If it's cool, put it in a warm place. And we're just going to let that rest and rise. So it's been about 40 minutes and my dough is ready, as we can see. And we're just going to lift it out of here and place it onto our surface. The dough turned out really nicely. Nice, smooth, supple. And we're going to cut it into portions now. We're going to cut it into 8 portions. The way I like to do it is just cut down the center, cut into a cross. This way you get 8 evenly shaped sections. So there. Our dough is separated into 8 evenly, pretty much even. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be exact. So we have 8 sections and we want to roll it, turning the edges in towards the bottom and turn those into little balls. Then just roll them until you have a nice smooth ball. Once you have a nice smooth ball, make a hole in the center. Then work that circle out. So you don't want that too big and you don't want it too small. Now you have a nice bagel shape and just place it. I have a tray here, a tray with parchment paper, lightly greased so they don't stick. And I'm just going to continue working on these balls. Fold the outer edges in towards the bottom. And then just roll around until you have a nice smooth ball. You can roll it on the surface that you're working on, which is fine. And then once you have your ball, place your thumb, poke a hole in the center, and work from the center outwards. Make that hole a little bit bigger because these will rise. So it's like a donut shape. These will rise and those centers will fill. So you have a nice bagel. I strive to get them all even. Do the rest. We're going to cover them with some plastic wrap and let them rest for about another 20 minutes before we boil them. It's been about 20 minutes. They're looking good. They've risen nicely. I'll be boiling these in about 5 quarts of water with a tablespoon of honey added to it. That will give them a nice crispy outside, crispy shiny outside, and they're going to be amazing. My water is just coming to a boil. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey to it. I'm just going to stir that in and let that dissolve as the water comes to a boil. And I'm just going to take our bagels. Really turned out nice. I don't know if you can see past the steam, but I'm going to drop them in there. And you want to cook these. I'm going to put them in 2 at a time. You don't want to put too many. You want to cook them for about a minute or 2 on each side. So you want to let them cook and then flip them over and cook the other side. Once they've boiled for about a minute on each side, remove them from the water. This is our last one. And place them. I've lightly greased the parchment paper so they don't stick. Our bagels are looking really good. They just came out of the water. They've boiled for a minute on each side. And we just want to let them cool. You can see the steam coming off of them still. We just want to let them cool for a little bit before we add our egg wash and our toppings. We have to add an egg wash to them, so we don't want to do that while they're hot. We do want to let them cool, so we'll give them about 5 minutes. It doesn't take long. We just don't want that egg to cook on it as we add it. So my bagels have cooled down, and now I'm going to brush them down with an egg wash. Your topping will stay on better, and they'll have a nice crisp outside and be nice and shiny. Egg wash is just 1 egg beaten with a little bit of water. Once you have your egg wash on, what I like to do is I have a bowl of sesame seeds here. That's what I'll be using for my topping today. You can, of course, use anything you like. These are organic sesame seeds. I really prefer using these. I also like an everything bagel occasionally, but today I'm doing sesame seed. So go with the topping of your choice. Just grab them like this and dunk it right into the topping. Roll it around a little bit. Make sure it gets all the way to the edges. And you get a nice topping that way. You get a fair amount of topping. You can, of course, just sprinkle it on if you like. I like doing it this way. Roll it around in there. Make sure you get those edges. I find it's the easiest way to get your topping on and get a fair amount of topping. You can sprinkle the rest on if you haven't gotten the centers. Oh yeah, these are going to be great. See, nothing left over. Okay, my bagels are ready to go into the oven. I have a nice generous topping of sesame seeds on them. I've preheated my oven to 375 and I'll be baking them for about 20 to 25 minutes depending on your oven. They look absolutely incredible. I can't wait till they come out of the oven. My bagels are ready. They just came out of the oven. They're piping hot. They look absolutely amazing. The house smells fantastic. I can't wait to have one of these. I just want to cut one of these open so you guys get an idea of what they look like inside. They're still warm. This is the best way to have a bagel. I mean, they can be had cold or warm, but I really love them fresh. And you can see how amazing these bagels are inside. They're really, really good. So if you can't get New York bagels where you are, or you just want something fresh, make your own. They'll be amazing. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you give it a try. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for more recipes like this.